We're going to bring in freelance journalist Samuel Getachew for more on this. Thank you for joining us. A very serious situation, but for our viewers, perhaps give us the quick on what both sides are asking for, because Tigray is a relatively small part of northern Ethiopia.
Well, the Ethiopian government insists they're fighting a terrorist organization, which is a TPLF to them. They're asking them to be disarmed for any kind of peace engagement to move forward, while the TPLF is asking for some kind of assistance in terms of how this peace engagement in South Africa is going to be conducted. They've been saying they are interested, but again, the difference between both sides remain huge in terms of what they want and what each side is demanding against the other side.
This meeting was supposed to potentially, as some experts say, lead to a possible ceasefire. And I don't know if that's being optimistic, but from what you're saying is that two sides remain very far apart.
Well, they are, but the fighting has been going on. Again, the Ethiopian side is insisting they're fighting a terrorist organization. There has been a few drones that has been conducted from the Ethiopian side. We've seen horrifying images on social media. But again, the Ethiopian government is insisting this is a terrorist organization. They're trying to disarm them. They're trying to have them respect the constitution of the land. They've been saying they are a terrorist organization. They're the ones that are provoking this conflict to move forward. The other side is claiming otherwise. Again, a conflict that began in November 2020, affecting millions of people. Millions have been displaced, and up to 500,000 people may have died in this conflict. And this conflict is also affecting Amhara and the Afari regions of Ethiopia.
What are the Tigre Forces asking for?
Well, they're asking for to have their own independence in terms of defending themselves. They're asking the government is punishing them for conducting an election that the Ethiopian government is saying is against this constitution of the land. But again, this kind of accusation and counter-accusation has been going on while, again, millions of people are starving. Even the famine of Ethiopia that the world has known this country to be is coming back to this country as a result of this conflict.
In decades past, we've often seen the United Nations step in, sometimes with peacekeeping forces, international peacekeeping forces. It seems like this meeting could have potentially been a launch point for something like that, no?
Well, during the Ethiopian War of 1998, between the Ethiopian government, which was dominated by the TPLF in 1998, and the Eritrean government, the UN did have a peacekeeping operation in this country. The UN was highly involved, led by Canadian Lloyd Axworthy, that was in charge of the peaceful engagement in addition to the peacekeeping that was going on. But there has been that kind of discussion at the moment. The world seems to be dominated with what's happening in the Ukraine, but this kind of discussion hasn't taken place. But who knows? This conflict has really surprised us with every turn that has been going on since it began.
This meeting that's delayed, what do you hope, or what are people close to you hope will be achieved in the coming weeks and months?
Well, as Ethiopians, we want to see an end to this conflict. I, for one, has been privileged traveling outside of Addis Ababa, seeing how it has really affected everyday Ethiopians. I've been to all regions of this, those that have been affected, Tigray, Amhara, and Afar in the last 2 years. It has really, really affected everyday people. Up to 500,000 and even more have died in this conflict. There's an issue of who started it, who's provoking it. But I think Ethiopians are looking for an end to this conflict. It hasn't just killed this many people, but it has also affected the economy of this country, which was once really becoming more than an aid-dependent nation. And Ethiopians want to go forward.
Samuel Getachew, I I want to thank you for your time on this, and I appreciate you sharing your personal story for what this means to you and, of course, your country. Thank you.
Thank you.